Hi everyone, my name is Anita Ladhani. I'm a licensed clinical social worker and an energy practitioner, and I am doing this video as a response to address a few questions that were inboxed to me by several people. I First of all, I want to tell you that I really appreciate and trust, appreciate and am grateful for the trust that many of you have in me. I appreciate that you're reaching out and you have the courage to ask for help and to ask questions. I think that takes a lot of courage to do that. So congratulations on doing that. And I figured I would do a talk on living your best life, which hopefully will address a lot of questions that were asked of me recently. And by the way, I'm wearing this hat not to look cute, but because my hair is a mess. And so this is the easiest, most simple way of, addressing the hair issue. So there you go. All right. So there's several things that I have found that really contribute to a person living their best life. What does their best life mean? So to me, the best life is about someone that lives in peace and happiness and gratitude and just, a sense of joy in life, right? And as I've said before, many times you can have all the money in the world, you can have all the successes in the world, you can have everything that you want on your checklist, and yet you find yourself missing that sense of calm, that sense of peace. And so you find yourself, living constantly in fear of, the other shoe dropping. And so what I'm going to share with you is basically my humble offering based on my own life experiences, having gone through depression, being a sexual abuse survivor, raising two teenage kids, being a professional in the field, and I have the privilege and the honor of working with hundreds of parents in crisis mode when they come through the hospital emergency room, and also the hundreds and hundreds of books I've been blessed to have read and learned a little bit from. So that's what I'm bringing to you. So I think the first thing that I would suggest is living in a state of gratitude. Research has shown that gratitude, the vibrational frequency of gratitude, is one that immediately increases joy and peace. So what does that mean? That means gratitude comes from the word grateful. And it's a simple practice of living in a state of gratitude. How do you do that? Well, I suggest you do that by keeping a daily gratitude journal. And any life coach, some of the best people on the planet have made that suggestion. So I'm not offering you anything that's really original that I came up with. This is just something that I've borrowed and tried and tested in my own life. So what do? Well, go to one of your local stores, right? If you're in the US, go to Ross or go to Marshall's. Those are reasonable places where you can go and pick up a journal that is pretty to look at. Something that makes your heart smile, right? Because, look at this. I have this journal. It's a little journal. I know it's backwards. It says preach. And I love the pages in there. I love the way the lines look. I have my favorite pens that I love writing with. And so when I write in a journal, if I have a pretty book, it's so much nicer to write in versus if I have like a notebook, right? I don't want to sit and write in this. So it helps to have a journal that the way I say it is pick a journal that makes your heart smile. And you don't have to spend more than $5 to $10 on it. And then what you do is every night before you go to bed, you spend the 2 minutes, and really that's all it takes, is 2 minutes to sit and write down 5 things you're grateful for, okay? In Simple Abundance, Sarah Ben Bretnack has a whole couple of pages on the practice of gratitude. Oprah talks about it. Deepak Chopra talks about it. Wayne Dyer has talked about it. I mean, I can sit here and name you every, powerhouse and spiritual, or inspirational leader, and they've all talked about this practice of gratitude being so crucial. So let's start there. Keeping a daily gratitude journal is going to transform your life, period. So every night before you go to bed, you write down the date, and then you write down, today I'm grateful for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. And that's it. You don't have to write anything else. But the key is that you do it every single night and you come up with new things every day, right? So it forces you. So, you combine things. So for example, the first night I wrote this, and I've been doing a gratitude journal for 20 years now. I wrote, I'm grateful for my son, I'm grateful for my family, I'm grateful for my husband, I'm grateful for my kids, I'm grateful for my home. So the next day I combined a lot of that and I added new things. Now, why do you need to do that? Because forcing yourself to add new things and write new things forces you to go through your day looking for things that you would normally take for granted, which now you would acknowledge and appreciate, and makes you more mindful. So the practice of gratitude is one of the most powerful practices. So please start there. Okay. Now, what I tell my clients is that, a lot of people don't do it because it seems really simple and it seems really redundant. You have to trust that this stuff works. And if you don't do it, you're not going to see a difference. My clients who do it feel better and see a difference. My clients who don't do it, they don't see a difference. So even on days that you've had a really rough day, especially on those days, take that a minute, literally 60 seconds, to open up your journal and write down, today I'm grateful for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's it. You don't have to write anything else. Keep your journal next to your bedside so that it's easily accessible. Do it at the end of the night, not at the beginning, because this is you taking inventory for the day. Now, if you feel like writing more, if you are someone that likes to journal, if you are someone that, if you enjoy that, great. By all means, after you do your five things you're grateful for, continue journaling. Pour your heart out into it. Pour your thoughts out into it. I call it a brain dump or a heart dump. And I have journals filled up, lining up on my bookshelf that I've had for 20 plus years. And there are times when I'll write down everything that I'm feeling, everything that I'm going through, and just dumping it in the journal sometimes is enough for me to feel better for that night. So gratitude journal is crucial. So that's number one. What else can you do? Well, there's a couple of things you can do. Being mindful, having a mindfulness practice. Now, a lot of people hear that and they don't know what that means. Does that mean meditation? Yeah, it actually does. So how do you meditate? How do you do that? Now, I've done several videos on meditation recently. Please feel free to go back and watch the video I did on meditation. It's a brief little video. But basically, start a practice where you spend time 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day. If you cannot, I hear a lot of moms telling me, I'm so busy, I have young kids, I have a husband, I'm trying to work on my master's, I'm dealing with the grief of this and I'm dealing with that. I don't have time to take to myself. And what I have to tell you is, moms or dads, you can't give what you don't have, number one, right? And you can't teach your kids something that you're not practicing yourself. You seriously cannot take 5 to 10 minutes out of your day. Then we really need to talk one-on-one of how we need to adjust things so that is possible. Now, I get it. I've had times when my babies were little and just going in the shower, with them would be like leaving them in their little bouncer in front of the shower while you jump in. I get that. Or using the bathroom with them in your hands. I completely understand that. But babies grow up and they will grow up. So, and they do sleep at some point, hopefully, right? So what I would suggest is if you're just starting off, go to YouTube and look for a 5-minute meditation, guided meditation, and just start with 5 minutes. And if you can do 10 minutes, great. But those 5 minutes will give you just a taste of inkling of peace, and calm that I think will hopefully have you going for more. Sometimes the other thing that I would strongly, strongly encourage is grounding, which is spending time in nature. Okay, there's a wonderful video called The Science of Grounding, again on YouTube. If you just put in The Science of Grounding, it comes up. I think it's like a 12 or 15-minute video. And so basically it talks about why grounding is so important. Spending time in nature is so important. Spending time bare feet in nature. And it basically, the video talks about how, the invention of shoes has been one of the most detrimental inventions in humankind, because back in the old ancient days, there were no shoes. Our ancestors used to spend time out in nature, bare feet. And there's an energetic field that the earth has, Mother Earth has, and we have. And so when we are walking bare feet, you literally are absorbing the energetic field from Mother Earth. It's going through your body, and it cancels out and calms you down and negates the negative charge that you have. They've actually done studies on it, and if you are a science freak and you want evidence, go watch the video, because it explains all this much more intelligently than I'm doing right now. But the bottom line is, if you don't want to watch the video and you trust me, just spend time in nature. Go outside, take your shoes off, and just put your feet on the ground. Spend time in your backyard if you're able to. Again, go outside. I work in a hospital, and sometimes I'm there for 12, 14 hours. I make it a point to go outside and just stand on the sidewalk or on the patch of grass and breathe, even if it's just 2 minutes. Get out and spend time in nature. Breathe in some fresh air. All right. So the other thing, number 4, that was number 3. First is gratitude. Second one is meditation. Third is grounding. Fourth is your diet. Okay. You need to eat healthier. You need to eat clean. You need to drink plenty of fresh water. I mean, this is just basic common sense, but we don't do it, guys. I know that I'm guilty of reaching for a bag of chips when I'm busy at work, because I don't have time to go warm up my food that I've cooked because I'm busy. But I try to keep healthier options so that I'm eating healthier. Organic is always better. Eat as clean as you possibly can. Preferably a vegan diet or vegetarian diet. I'm not quite there yet. I'm working on my own diet. But again, these are offerings because more and more research has shown, the carcinogens that meat has, or just the stuff that, the animal products have. From an energetic standpoint, it's just better not to consume those goods. And really these days, there's so many amazing options that I don't miss my hamburgers and chicken sandwiches, because, for example, Morningstar, if you're in the US or Canada, Morningstar is an amazing company that has all these, products that taste great. And once you kind of just make up your mind you're not going to eat it, you're not going to eat it, I think the toughest for me is when I'm around Indian food, the traditional Indian food, like the nihari and the butter chickens and this and that. And, it's a choice. It's a mental state of mind. I'm not going to eat it. I'm not going to eat it. There's plenty of other foods to eat that I enjoy. So drink plenty of water, minimize, if not cut off the alcohol, the substances if you possibly can. And again, no one's telling you to go from 0 to 100. Take baby steps. You got to start wherever you are. That's 4, your diet. Of course, exercise is important. So you can maybe, kill 2 birds, or don't kill any birds with 1 stone. But I hate that little phrase. But the point is, you can accomplish, a couple of things. You can go maybe for a walk out in nature, go for a, brisk walk, but then spend a few minutes just without your shoes on outside. Number 5 is that if you have, I think it's important to have a relationship with your higher power. Again, it doesn't matter what name you call him or her by. It doesn't matter what religion you are. That's irrelevant. I think what's important is that you cultivate a practice of connecting with your higher power. Speak to God. What is prayer? To me, prayer is nothing but a conversation with God. And the book Conversation with God actually it's Conversations with God by Neil Donald Walsh. It's a series of 3 books, and this man has written, I don't even know how many, 20 plus, 30 books. One of the best books I read, and it literally changed my relationship with God. It defined and is the foundation of my current relationship with God. I read this book 20 years ago, and he's still alive and kicking, although he's getting old, and he is actually in Medford, Oregon. He's in Oregon, but a couple of times a year he does retreats, and so if you're interested, a lot of times he offers these retreats for next to nothing, but you still have to find your way in terms of, hotel and whatnot. It's absolutely worth it to go and spend a week with him. I had the opportunity to do that. I think it was maybe 8 years ago, where I went to Medford and spent a week in a hotel, whatever conference area, with, I think it was 50 others from literally all around the world that had read his book, had read his books, and we were there, and literally he would just come and lecture, and we would listen. Now, not everyone is going to be able to go. I get it, but something, if you're able to go, go. The other thing also, while I'm on the meditation thing, there's the meditation retreat, Vipassana, is completely free. It's a 10-day silent meditation retreat that I've talked about in the meditation video, Game Changer. You can go to www.dhamma.org, DHAMMA.org, and you can find a Vipassana meditation retreat wherever you are in the world. Literally, they're offered around the world, and they're always free. You don't have to give anything at the end of it. It's an amazing offering. So coming back to this, I think number 6 is conversations with God, prayer. Speak to God, connect with God, connect with your higher power. I know the prayer that I strive to remember to say before I leave the home every morning is, God, use me to be an instrument of good. Use me, to be of service to whoever I come across. Keep me humble, keep me protected, keep me grounded, protect my loved ones, protect everyone that I'm in connection with, bring peace to the world. But most importantly, use me as an instrument of good. And just connecting that way, being mindful as I step out into, to start my day, is just a simple prayer that, that I works wonders for me. Make it your own, whatever works your own. Whatever works for you. Now, there's some of us that live with anxiety. Anxiety is very real. We're constantly in a state of panic. So if you're doing all these things and you're still in a state of panic, now mind you, this is not something that's going to just switch on and off overnight. This is a practice. This is a way of living your life every single day. This is about choosing to do your gratitude journal every night, choosing to be mindful, choosing, to be mindful of the foods that you're eating in, choosing to drink plenty of fresh water, choosing to not, drink alcohol or do drugs, choosing to, spending time in nature and exercising, choosing to connecting with your higher power. This stuff takes time. But then again, however old you are, you didn't get to where you are overnight. So don't expect to an overnight, thing. It will work. Now I've done EFT videos, and I would strongly encourage you to do the EFT. But if you find yourself doing EFT and if you're stuck, then I suggest you reach out to an EFT therapist. You're welcome to call me. You're welcome to look up in your local, Google, wherever you are. I know that I've had people reach out to me from around the world. I wish I had a referral sort of, place where I could send you to people in your part of the world. Unfortunately, I don't at this point. So I would just, encourage you to look locally. But get help is what I'm saying. If there are issues that you find yourself getting stuck on, talk to a professional, talk to a therapist, talk to someone who does, who comes recommended, or just take a chance, because I truly believe that there are no coincidences in life. So whoever comes your way is going to be someone that hopefully can help you. But it's Brene Brown said something really interesting, and she's done research about this, and and I hear mothers tell me all the time that they feel that everything's going well. Sure, they have stress, but it's like they're anticipating the worst. It's like they're waiting. They're afraid they're going to get cancer. They're afraid one of the kids is going to die, or they're afraid that they're going to fail in business. It's like you're anticipating the worst. And what I want to tell you is something that you might have heard before, but trust me, this stuff is as real as it is. Your thoughts are powerful. Your thoughts create. Your thoughts manifest your life. So if the only thing you get away from this video is that you are the creator of your own life by simply controlling and being mindful of your thoughts, job is done. Good night. Have a great life. Go. Be in peace. So what does that mean? That means if you start to become aware of what you're thinking about, catch yourself. When you start to have these thoughts where you are going down this doom and gloom, stop yourself. Stop yourself and honestly, do a quick EFT. Even though I'm afraid of getting so-and-so, I still completely and deeply love and accept myself. Even though I'm living in fear, I completely and deeply love and accept myself. Do that 3 times, go through, the different meridians and work it through, right? And again, if it gets to be too much, then reach out and get help. My final, and I think this is this has been my saving grace, in addition to everything I've shared with you, has been surrendering. I got divorced 15 years ago, I think, at this point. And life was tough. It was depression, and it was sleepwalking through life, and kind of getting up and getting out of the funk and going and getting my master's and still trying to be of service while I'm still trying to figure out my own stuff. I mean, by no means have I, figured out all my issues. I'm still a work in progress. I'm still, working on my own stuff that I'm working on. But the one thing that I know for sure is that God has me in the palm of his hands. And I promise you, God has you in the palm of his hands as well. Because God loves unconditionally, period. You don't have to do anything or be anything to favor God's love. You are just loved because you are God's child. I am God's child. We are perfect just the way we are in all our imperfections. This whole doom and gloom idea of God that some schools of religions preach, I completely disagree with. And again, I credit Conversations with God for that. And I credit all my amazing teachers that I've had, in the terms of my different authors and stuff that I've named already. So what I'll tell you this is, when you have kids, right? And you have say you have a house, you live in a house with a fenced backyard, right? When you have your kids and they're going out and playing in the backyard, do you really care what games they play, right? Usually you don't, because, unless you're a helicopter parent, then let's talk offline. But usually, as long as you have a fenced-in backyard, it's safe, you've got some toys there, and it's, you're okay as long as the kids are playing in the backyard because you're there. So say one of them trips and hurts themselves and gets a boo-boo. Well, you're there. They come to you crying. You give them a hug. You clean their boo-boo. Maybe you put some ointment on it. Maybe you just kiss it and say, I love you. You're going to be fine. Go back outside, right? Well, I believe that we are children who are here on earth to play and learn lessons. And God is a parent who is sitting in the big house, and earth is the backyard. Earth is the school. And so when we make mistakes, God doesn't judge us. God doesn't really care what games we play or how we live our lives. Sure, he has sent messengers so that we can learn and we can, follow the truth. But if you don't, you don't. you'll learn to do it again. You'll do it again until you get it right. So to me, there's no judgment. There's no, sure, there's heaven or hell in the realms of existence, and that's a whole different conversation. But it's not heaven or hell that God is punishing you and sending you to. That is dictated by the law of karma. Okay, that is cause and effect. When you do something, something else happens based on what you do. That's the laws of karma. That's not God sitting there and saying, you know, Anita, you were bad, so I'm going to send you to this level of hell. It doesn't work that way. God loves unconditionally. So I've known this for 20 years now, that God loves me and has me in the palm of his hands. So now, if I know that, then I know that everything that is happening in my life is happening exactly at the right moment. And it's here to teach me and to make me a better human being. And so what do? Does that mean I just give up and don't do anything at all? No, I still have to get up and go to work in the morning. I still get up and make these videos. I still do what I need to do with my kids. I still do what I need to do with my clients and with my patients. You still have to show up and do your part. But you have to relinquish control. You have to surrender. And I know this is such an alien concept and such a scary concept for a lot of people, right? But I think surrendering and going with the flow and accepting whatever it is really hard. I know I'm struggling with that now, but you can't control it. So just, you can't control anything anyways. So just surrender and enjoy the process. And, so yes, you have deadlines at work or you have deadlines at school. Fine, do the best you can. But when you're with your kids, be present, right? And at the end of the day, it's your perspective that dictates, again, your thoughts. But it's a slightly different thing. It's not just your thoughts, but it's your perspective that dictates what your experience of life is going to be, right? So I remember as a mom, I used to, when the kids were little, there were mounds of laundry, never ending, right? And I used to complain, oh my God, laundry, laundry, laundry. Well, one day I realized I'm blessed to have the mounds of laundry because that means I have healthy kids at home, okay? I am blessed to have dirty dishes. That means I have food and I've been able to feed my kids a variety of food and I've been able to enjoy meals with my kids. So shukr alhamdulillah, thank God, right? I am tired. I'm tired of cleaning the house, but that means I've got kids in the house that I'm actually enjoying and they're growing up in a safe, loving environment. And God has provided that. So thank God for that. So, all these opportunities that you have, recognize them. Instead of getting lost in the chores, understand what that means. Change your perspective and start living in a state of gratitude and being mindful. And, again, God willing, that will help you stay in the moment, enjoy your kids, because guys, those of you who have little kids, I promise you they grow up. Trust me. They grow up and they leave for college and they don't come back. And then you wish they would come back and you wish you could get them home and you wish you could cook for them and you wish you could do their laundry for them because they're gone. They grow up, they get wings, right? And you want the kids to get wings. So I know it seems like they're never going to grow up and you're stuck in diapers and baby clothes and laundry and dishes. Enjoy it because this too shall pass. So, anyways, and as always, worst case situation, if you've gone through something traumatic and, you can't even get yourself to do any of the things I'm suggesting, then perhaps you might want to consider medication. Nothing wrong with that. Medication, not meditation, right? If you are in such a funk that you cannot get yourself to do the things that I'm recommending and suggesting, then there's a bigger issue, okay? Acknowledge that you are living in a human body and there are limitations that come with the body, right? Life happens to all of us. So when life happens to all of us, when life kicks our butts, our body gets jarred, okay? So our body does not create the neurotransmitters it needs to balance us out, to make us be happy or calm. And we live in this, if you're living in this constant state of anxiety and depression, then take the medication to help even you out so that you can then start doing the things I'm recommending and have a happy life. Who cares if you are on medication for the rest of your life? If that means a better quality of life, so be it, right? What blows my mind is that people are like completely anti-medication for depression and anxiety, but they have no problem taking, medication for diabetes and high blood pressure and heart disease. What's the difference? The difference is the same. It's a body. It's a chemical imbalance in your body. It is not a mental illness in the true sense of the word, where people think because it's a mental illness, that means it's in their mind control and they have control over it and they should be okay. No, guys, depression, anxiety, all of this stuff and everything else that's falls under the impression of mental illness is basically your body not creating the levels of serotonin, dopamine, neurotransmitters to help you feel the level of normalcy and calm that other people do. And there's no judgment, stop being so hard on yourself. Get the help you need, because at the end of the day, your quality of life is what matters, right? So anyways, I know this was a long video. I apologize. I hope this was helpful. As always, feel free to share. You don't need my permission to share the videos. Feel free to inbox me, and love and light. God bless. Take care.